Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M,
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Shout out to Nick Savage for redoing the intro, including that national championship volleyball team. Welcome into TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Typically, we're hanging out over there at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. We're just going to kick it here at the main desk. OB, it's kind of a weird Monday for me. And tell me if you're on the same. It's mixed emotions because, my goodness, and this is the second straight show that volleyball is going to lead our show during football season, during a playoff season. And that's the cool part of it. The sad part of it is football ended and the way it ended and the way that, I guess, the slow drip. Like, remember, like the whole season was about finish. And they didn't finish this year. And to me, that does not mean not winning a national championship. That just means the last two times we saw them play football, they didn't play their best brand of football. And maybe you could say the last 3 times we saw them play, other than a miraculous second half.
Yeah. So my analogy, my comparison for the whole weekend is that, sometimes I play the lottery. And if I was to get 5, and this is for me, this is just the way I feel. I'm not saying everybody has to feel this way. In fact, some people probably feel completely different. But the way I look at it is if I played the lottery and I got 5 of the 6 numbers and got several $1,000s, I would be euphoric, right? But I wanted those 6.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So I'm a football guy. So I was covering the basketball game yesterday, but we had the volleyball game on, and I'm riveted. I'm trying to do both, and it's okay. And I was thrilled, and I still am thrilled. I'm so happy that they won. But it doesn't for me. It doesn't console me enough for the loss for the football. I was really, really disappointed with the football loss. Probably more so than any loss I can remember.
Yeah, but I think volleyball, to me, made me feel so much better. Because I was bummed. I was anti-sports. I didn't watch the freaking play. I know a lot of people do. I was out. First off, I passed out. I slept like a baby. But, so that volleyball experience over the last 10 days, really the whole season, but the last 10 days, I've seen so many. When Jamie Morrison told me here 3 years ago, he wanted this sport to be different. He wanted our website to cover it differently. He wanted it to become such a big deal. And what I saw was the Nuño family, not just my house, okay? Mm-hmm. My house, all the kids, all of them were into it, yelling, knowing the players' names. My wife, all of us, we were up and down, cheering. And what they did over the last 10 days, the sweeps.
It's amazing.
Right? And then watching my brother video his wife, Tiffany, all Aggies, by the way, screaming, enjoying the last few minutes, because we all knew it was coming, right? We knew,
after they rallied from that, or they got down, what were they
18-12, 18-11, whatever
I know it was 10-5 at one point.
Right.
And then to come back and win and then dominate after that.
Domination. I needed it. Look, you can say what you want about football, but I take great pride in our university having such a good athletic program where I like the people involved. I like them, right? I think Jamie's not only a friend, I think he's somebody that I would want my kids to play for. right? I can say that about Garrett Chattel, Trisha Ford, Bucky McMillan, all of them, Joni Taylor. So to see people that I consider friends represent my university and capture the world's attention, I needed that.
I did too. Again, I celebrated. I'm really happy. I've always said, I've said this, and we all agree. It's not an amazing, thought. It's obvious, but A&M should be good at everything.
Yeah.
It hasn't always been. And they go out and they win a national championship in volleyball, and it was amazing. Starting from when they rallied from 2 sets down, and who was that against?
They were down Louisville, 2 sets down.
Louisville. Was that? That was
the Friday prior.
That was in Nebraska, right?
Yeah. That was the Sweet 16.
And then they beat Nebraska.
Yeah.
And then
who was 33-0 at home, or 33-0 on the year, and hadn't lost at home since 2021.
And then they just dominate Pitt. They have that 1-8. They overcome that. Pitt scores 8 straight points, and A&M still beats. And then to close it out the way they did, remarkable, amazing. They deserve all the accolades. They deserve a trip to 1775. They deserve everything. They deserve a parade. They deserve statues.
They do.
Olin Buchanan loved it, but Olin Buchanan still has a hole in his heart.
Yeah.
For the frustrating loss.
It doesn't erase. It just helps me cope.
It helps me cope.
Right? And it also gives me a great pride in it. And, I love making fake T-shirts, right? Like we always have these fake T-shirts on this show. Well, volleyball gets to make T-shirts that are real, right? Because one of the T-shirts, why not us? Well, it became us.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Morrison has a new one.
What is that?
This is the beginning.
I hope so.
The beginning of something real special. Now, I don't know if we're going to get 9 seniors next year and, dominate. But
look what he did in 3 years here.
What he did in 3 years. The other thing I was going to say, OB, you know who I'm most mad at right now?
What's that?
Myself.
For what?
Because I had conversations with my family. They were like, hey, do you think we're going to win? I was like, I'd like to think so, but the chances of beating 3 number 1 seeds in the same path, I don't know. It's going to be tough in Kentucky. But if anybody can do it, it's this team. But I just think to myself, how hard that is. Bro, they were the best team momentum is a real thing. And they were the best team in the country, and it was not even close.
And see, David, and here I am raining on the parade again.
Uh-oh.
Remember how so many people were upset about the seeding in football?
Yeah.
And my point was, if you're good,
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That volleyball team, 3 number 1s, went up to Nebraska. You're good. It doesn't matter. You rise up. When the pressure's on, when you're at crunch time, you make clutch plays because you're better. And that's what makes you better, that ability to perform at a high level when there's a lot of pressure on. And that's what A&M did not do.
Let's hear from Jamie Morrison and the players last night at Reed Arena. They get there at 12:45, 1 o'clock in the morning, and there were a lot of folks there celebrating. And here's Jamie and the team.
I don't think I've ever seen a grittier performance from a group of human beings than I've seen over the last 2.5 weeks. And they embody what the school is about. It's about, getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things. And this thing is a product of that.
We just couldn't be more grateful for you guys. This is just what we've dreamed of this place being. And this is just what's so special about this school. We love you guys. We're Natty champs. Go Logan.
All I can say is thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for y'all's support this season and honestly the past 4 years that we've been here. I said it in the presser earlier, but there's just so much more that goes on behind the scenes. All 17 of us, our staff, our support staff, and you guys. Seriously, we cannot do this kind of stuff without you guys. So thank you so much, 12th man. I mean, y'all are here at 1 in the morning.
All right, that was great to see.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking volleyball throughout the show, just so everyone's aware. They're kind of tired. They've got some media commitments. I will probably have Jamie in studio tomorrow. That's the hope and the plan. And a couple of the players at some point, hopefully today. If not on the live show, we'll get it ready for tomorrow.
Amazing. I I sent this line to Kay Naegeli. She wasn't able to use it, but, I was just thinking, they beat Louisville, beat Kentucky. So they swept the Commonwealth with an uncommon wealth of grit and determination and just power at the net. Again, I'm thrilled. I'm excited. It was amazing. I celebrated.
Did you?
The wife and the niece and the sister-in-law all flew up to Kansas City for the game. She said it was an amazing experience to see it out. And how many Nebraska fans were there supporting Texas A&M because they respected A&M for what they did in Lincoln. But I got to tell you,
it's okay.
I still have a little bit of depression.
It's all right. Did you see the shirt I'm wearing?
Volleyball.
Check that out, baby.
Look at that.
Yeah, I was waiting for this to wear this today. Very proud of this team. People want to talk football. We hope to talk volleyball as well. We're going to have Kay Naegeli on in a few minutes, but we'll talk football throughout the show. If you want to be a part of the conversation this morning, you can do it multiple ways. You can call us up 979-693-1150. That is the what?
That's the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
Yeah, we love Bucky.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, let's go straight to that because Kevin wants to talk a little football with us. Kevin, welcome to TexAgs.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are y'all?
Good morning.
Good, all right.
All right, here we go. I just was listening to Peter Burns and SEC this morning, and they had Chiswick on, and they were talking about Marcel's play. When did Marcel's play drop off? Texas game. I've been to every game except for 2. It dropped off at Texas. When did Colin Klein start snooping around for a head job? Gene Chiswick just said on SEC Morning, you can't serve 2 masters. He was talking about the time that Vince Young spent with Greg Davis before their playoff run, and he said it was forever. He spent every waking minute. Colin couldn't do that with Marcel. How do we deal with it? I'll let you guys talk it out.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Look, Will Stein is serving 2 masters. Well, not really, but kind of, right? You have, what's his name? Brian Hartline serving 2 masters. I think you can. I don't think that's what happened to Marcel. I think Marcel, if you look at the end of last season, I believe he finished his last 3 Power 4 games with interceptions. You look at this season, he finished his last 5 Power 4 games.
In 4 of the last 6 games, he had 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
4 of the last 6.
I think it's a combination of things. I'm not putting that on Colin Klein. I don't know. I can't get into somebody's brain. I'm not going to do that.
I think Colin Klein, I have no doubt in my mind that Colin Klein worked hard to prepare him for the game. I don't think that was the issue. I think Marcel has to play better. He's got to make better decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I think his worst decision, now the first interception wasn't a bad decision. It was a horrific pass.
Bad throw.
It's like he threw to where the guy was instead of leading him.
Yep. And that would have been a huge game.
And it would have been a huge play. But to me, his worst decision was the busted play when they're at the 29. You can throw it out of bounds. You can just fall down. Now, look, he was trying to make a play and he got hit. I get it. Maybe had he released the ball a half second faster, maybe it's completion of first down. But I think you got to understand, hey, it's second down. Look, this is a problem. Let's just get the ball, let's throw it away, and let's try for it on third down. But so Marcel has to play better. Marcel has to get better. Marcel threw for 3,100 yards, but he had 12 interceptions. He's got to do better. And I think he was running, and in fact, him running was the running game. Yeah. So Marcel does have to get better. But that game was lost at the line of scrimmage
100%.
Because that offensive line that said those guys weren't a threat.
They were a threat.
They got punked. They got owned at the offensive line. 7 sacks. 7.
6 in the second half.
And they couldn't run. You couldn't run. So there was a lot of people that was upset around here a couple of weeks ago when that line wasn't finalist for the Joe Moore Award. Well, look, they gave up 7 sacks, and you couldn't run unless your quarterback was scrambling away from pressure.
2 games in a row where the offensive line was overwhelmed. Also, some of the same themes that bit this team throughout the season bit them. Special teams.
Special teams was atrocious.
Especially bad in that game. Especially bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were.
Okay. Misfits. The defense played phenomenal.
The defense does what it always does.
Yeah.
It would play the run well for 10 plays.
And then?
Or 9 plays. The 9th one is, that was the longest, that 56-yard run when they just had them down at the 14. I think they're going to get a stop, maybe not a 3 and out, but a stop and get the ball back with a chance to win the game. Instead, Mark Fletcher, who had I think 2 runs all year of 20 yards, has the longest run from scrimmage by Miami all season.
Yep.
And a big part of it is linebackers misfitting and defensive backs struggle to tackle.
By the way, newsflash, that's the turning point of the game, because not only did it set up their touchdown, for me it's the turning point, not only does it set up their touchdown, you have them on the 14.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance if you play the defense, you played 90% of that game, you get the ball short field with a chance.
That's why, And so I thought, I was like, man, all right. I'm disappointed that they had gotten the fumble and didn't do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got them backed up. Get a stop. And then I was disappointed that on 3rd and 5, Miami only converted 3 of 12 third downs, but they're on 3rd and 5, the one that you had to have the most. You figure the ball they were probably going to be looking to Tony.
Yeah.
And he sweeps around and, finds his way into the end zone.
So turnovers, scoring, I mean.
And the big plays.
The big plays.
Big running plays.
And special teams. And by the way, Kyle Field, electric. Amazing. But this is
another example of why I say these fans have given so much and gotten so little back historically.
But that's now 2 games to end your Kyle Field season. I mean, you did play a bowl game last year, but where your offense was non-existent.
No touchdowns in your offense from the touchdowns in your last 2 home games.
Last home games of the season at Kyle Field. Yep. And then if you look at how they've played against the last few teams to close out the year, it's been one. They didn't finish, OB. And by the way, I know that some would look at it as finishing means, winning all of it. I'm not saying winning the national championship. To me, finishing could have been a 31-30 loss to Miami, let's just say, where you're slinging it out and they're just better than you. Well, they were better than you. There's no doubt. But the team we saw for 90% of the season, 80% of the season, we didn't see. We saw November blues in December.
A&M actually outgained them.
Mm-hmm.
Had more first downs. There was great opportunities. I would before the fake punt, you throw a pass, which I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't, and we talked about that. I wouldn't have thrown a pass, but the pass was there, and it came out kind of funny. I don't know if it slipped out of Marcel's hands, and it was a difficult catch that it should have been, could have been caught. I mean, I'm not putting it on EJ, but but that's the separation of what the volleyball team did and what the football team did when it mattered most. And then they did the fake punt. And if you'll go back and watch the fake punt, I can't tell if the ball was late coming from, and I'm not going to blame the punter. He's not a quarterback. Or if Mark, I thought it was Ashton Beth Roman, but it was Mark. It was Ratcliffe, Marcus Ratcliffe, because he hesitated, and I think, well, I'm waiting for the ball. Oh no, now I've got to go downfield, and that's not a wide receiver. It's a DB, and he made a nice move. But you know what I was thinking? If you know you're going to fake a punt, do you think the other team that's not seen you all year except for this game, if you put in the other number 3, who is a wide receiver, and that's for that play, like if you knew you were going to plan a fake punt all week, then why do you say, if we're going to throw it to 3, why don't we put in another number 3? There's so many things you can look at and say, well, what could have been different, and that's among the things that makes it so painful.
All right, guys, let's go around the room. There's not a lot of people in the room.
No,
people are taking time off. Let's go around the room and say hi to the people. Behind the glass is our director. We call him the crew cut, Nick Savage. Nick, good morning, buddy.
Howdy, good morning, y'all. Yeah, some might say the best days are when nobody is here. Me and Richard holding down the fort. But, real bummer. Like you said, I'm kind of with OB. Like, the cup is not full after this weekend. Aggie volleyball did their best to fill it up, and it's almost full. But, people don't want to hear it right now. But in a few weeks, we'll be able to look back and say, hey, you win 11 games for the first time since 2012. It's year 2 of Mike Elko. He makes the college football playoff. It's a step in the right direction, right? You get over one hump. Now you got to find a way to win the big game, the biggest games. That's my biggest frustration too, by the way. Y'all mentioned it last year, the Texas game, Saturday, arguably 2 of the biggest games at Kyle Field ever, and they don't score an offensive touchdown. So that's rough, but again, a good season to build on, and I'm looking forward to what's going to come of it.
OB, what other people say, whatever. Like, people are going to say what they're going to say. Unfortunately, though, the way this season ended allows that door to stay open of you guys are pretenders.
Yeah.
Even though the stuff that Nick said is true. 11 wins, fun season, but you left the door open for people to doubt you.
And they will.
And there's certain people that make a living, I don't know how, just being controversial and saying stuff. You won't be back on this show, bro.
But if make the plays, and you shut people up.
Yep.
But this is why people say what they say about A&M.
Mm-hmm. So to break, OB, our friend Canes fan was here in studio.
Yeah, nice guy.
Right? Very nice guy. He knew the SID from the University of Miami as well. We got to chat with him quite a bit. He took some pictures around the set. Then he went to 1775.
Yeah.
He said it was excellent. Only open a few hours a day. Doesn't matter. It's great.
Of course it is. That's why, like I said, it's Texas barbecue at its finest, the greatest barbecue in the world, and it's the greatest example of that barbecue. It's why that volleyball team deserves to have a parade, and that parade should lead right down past the airport on the way to Snook, but not all the way to Snook. Just have that parade go all the way down there, about 2 miles past the airport, 2 or 3, over to the left, and parade your way all the way to 1775 for the succulent brisket and the jalapeno cheese sausage, because I love that sausage. I'm a big sausage guy, especially the jalapeno cheese sausage. So get that jalapeno cheese sausage, get the pork ribs, some of that turkey, some of that pulled pork, definitely that queso mac and cheese, because they earned it. Talk about going for a national championship to the best barbecue in the nation.
Canes fan right now is typing the best in capital letters. 1775 was so dang good.
Heck yeah.
It's the taste test. You know, they used to do the Coke and Pepsi taste challenge. You could do this, and every time you're going to pick 1775. The website, 1775txbbq.com. Call them up, 979-492-6241. It's 1775.
And it's good.
And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Got a guy named Dave, or David, who just texted the show. And I'm looking through some of his texts throughout the time. It's typically not positive. He says Texas is 8-4. He's an Aggie, and that's what he sends in. So, thanks, man.
Well, they went 11-2.
Yeah. They won 11 games.
And that's small consolation, but they did win 11 games. So
he also says we're now a volleyball school, not a football school. Time to put the NIL dollars behind women's sports. They deliver.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I mean, football pays the bills. It's always going to pay the bills. And why don't you just start? I mean, if that's the way you feel about A&M football, why don't you just stop following it?
Yeah, easier. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We're joined by ace reporter Kay Naegeli, who amazing work there in Kansas City with Callie Gardner. Kay, good morning. Are you on your way to the airport?
Good morning. We're actually, we just dropped off the car and we're going to be headed there soon. Had to hop on a call with y'all real quick and make sure to talk some national championship Aggie volleyball.
Well, Kay, to start things off, I'm mad at myself. I never doubted this team. I just doubted the path. They proved that completely wrong. They were not only the best team in the country, it wasn't even close.
Yeah, me and Callie had a pretty good feeling all along. Just the way that they were playing, I just didn't think there was any signs of slowing down. It just really seemed like they were firing on all cylinders, and they didn't even necessarily have their best game, but they didn't have to, right? They just came out and had more fight ultimately. That first set didn't exactly start the way they wanted. There were very much nerves in play. The players will tell you that, and they just settled in. Jamie called that timeout after I think it was 6-1, and from there they played their brand of volleyball on it. It didn't have to be super impressive and showing off all these different things that they could do, but ultimately they were just a better team on the floor that night, and they proved it in sweeping fashion.
Yeah, I think they now they probably would have been a better team probably just about any other night, but they did lose to Kentucky early in the year. What did they do different or better this time specifically? Or are there things that you can point at and say, yeah, here's what was different aside from the outcome the last time they played Kentucky?
Yeah, the first time they won that, they did win that first set back at Arena, but from there they went and lost 3 consecutive. So I think it was just the momentum of the moment that they kept, and they were able to ultimately pretty much roll those second and third. I mean, that crowd there was a lot of A&M fans in it, but it was very, very red. It was a sea of red cheering for maroon. And so whenever Kentucky got a point, like it did not seem like that was the home advantage. It was very much so on the Aggie side. And it was just such a story, and it's been so fun to cover all year. But yeah, I really think keeping that momentum through the second set, I don't think with the senior group that they had, they were going to let that go. They wanted it too bad, and I think from the game back at Reed in October, that was the difference.
Okay, let's go the story in the story. So we all have heard now several times on the national broadcast on this show at TexAgs.com the Kendall Stowers story. But let's talk about the Kendall Stowers story from the beginning of the season, where she was a really good player, but not the tournament MVP player that had finished, right? So talk a little bit about how it took a little time for her to feel like she was a cemented piece, and beyond that, one of the catalysts on the program.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she's been great all year, right? She was the first team All SEC player. She's been absolutely great. I just think she reached another tick in postseason that is ultimately what allowed the Aggies to have so much success and kind of go to that next level. In that first, Logan wasn't necessarily having her best game. Kentucky was reading her a little bit well and defending her. And then you start going to Afena and you start going to Kendall and you take them off their game. And that was just the thing. Like, they had so many options that they could go to that you never know where it's coming from. And when Kendall Stowers is in front of you and can jump out of the gym and she can hit around any block in the country, it is so hard to defend and having a view of her like right in front of us where we were. It's so impressive to watch what she does. She hits cross corners so well, and even if it's not the greatest set, which usually they are from Maddie, but she was just phenomenal again last night. She only had 10 kills, but that's the thing. You didn't really need her to have any more. She obviously went off a couple times in postseason, had some big regular season games against like the likes of Texas. But yeah, her story is absolutely phenomenal. And she is someone who you are going to build this program around, right? She has 2 more years of eligibility, and she's going to be an absolute phenomenal player. And I think it can be the reason why A&M is contending in this position every year.
So I asked you this, I think, after the Nebraska game. I asked you this because I didn't get to watch the game the way I'd really want to, because basketball was going on. So I'm trying to keep up with all kinds of things. Yep. So an unsung hero, who would that have been? Somebody besides those big 3 that you were talking about that were dominating the net. Who else played a key role?
I mean, Ava Underwood, she has such a heart. Like, she wanted it so bad, and she's such a prideful Aggie, right? Eva Hudson was having a little bit of success there, especially in that 3rd clip. I think they fired well over 400, and they just wanted it so bad. And Ava was back there trying to dig every ball. She had that pancake. I don't know if you saw. They got.
I did.
They reversed it. I didn't really see the replay. I don't know if that was the exact right call, but even just the effort to go under it and not relent, right? She's been phenomenal for this program all year long. And as a libero, sometimes you don't get all the shiny stats, right? You don't get kills and things like that. But I think the team just felt a calm presence with her on the floor. They can look around and see someone that they've known for so long that's smiling and cheerful, and she's such a joyous person to be around. So yeah, I'm gonna go. She wears number 12 for a reason. She's been awesome, and this program wouldn't have been the same without her.
Okay, last thing for you. It was like when they won that first set, there was no doubt in my mind they were going to win it, right? Because they I don't want to say they played poorly, but Kentucky seemed to be the team that was like the aggressor. And then it all changed, and it went back to what we had been seeing the last part of the Louisville match and obviously the Pitt match.
Yeah. Once they won the first set, I was pretty certain that they were going to get it done, and I didn't think there was going to be any relenting, what's crazy is there was only one lead change in the entire match, and it was when A&M went up by a point just before set point. And from there, they never trailed. Like, you talk about playing at a level like that on the national championship stage. We talk about any other sport, and if you say there was only one lead change, and then the other team rolled from there, that is just complete dominance, right? I had no doubt in my mind. Those 9 seniors wanted it so bad. Every single one of them we talked to just had so much pride in what they were doing, and so much pride in. And Jamie, even when things didn't go their way necessarily, they found a way. They responded. Your 3 stars, Afena, Logan, and Kendall, they didn't have to have spectacular nights, but they did what they needed to get it done, and ultimately swept their way to a title.
Okay, 2 parts here to close out. Is Callie with you? Because we'd like to hear from her real quick. And also, amazing job. You did fantastic work this week. Very proud of both of you.
Thank you. She is here with me.
Yeah, put her on.
Hi?
What's up?
What's up, girl?
Tired, but we had so much fun.
Yeah, so just give us your thoughts on how it all played out and what it was for you.
Oh, my goodness. It was so exciting to be there and be up in the action with my camera and just watching those players and the athletes they are and their heart, and just see them, see it come to fruition for them and the vision that they had for this program 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whenever they stayed through the coaching transition, and talking to all the seniors. You don't see that much anymore with the transfer portal. And so it was just a really awesome moment, full circle for them for sure.
Callie, safe travels. Thank you for all your great work. I'm proud of both of you. You guys did amazing.
Thanks,
y'all.
See ya. Kay and Callie on the road, and KC coming back. All right, Obi, let's hit a break. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention back to football to close out the hour. And rumor has it that OB is going to stick around for the top of the 9 o'clock. We're just going to chit-chat. Sound good?
Sure. Let's talk.
All right. Kay, Callie, the entire volleyball team, Coach Morrison, and his entire staff, they need duck camp gear. That's just what they need.
Well, you got to look good.
Got to look like a
play
winner.
good.
Yeah.
They play well, so look good. Get them some duck camp. Get them some duck camp gear. But national championship teams deserve some championship caliber gear.
I used to not wear camo gear very much.
Oh, yeah?
But, like, I have some duck camp camo gear that I've been wearing that I like the way it makes me
now
feel.
that you're hunting and stuff
well,
like that.
now that I'm, I'm
An
Rambo
outdoorsman?
wannabe 2.0. Yeah. You can get some Rambo gear. You can get hunting gear. You can get it all.
As recently as last night, my son saw a hoodie from duck camp that he didn't know I had, and he said, "I'm taking this. This is cool." And I said, "No, you're not. I'm keeping it." He says, "You're not cool enough to wear that." I said, "Well, I'm wearing it anyway." So he got denied, but you know what? He can go on the duck camp website and get his own.
Oh, that's right. There is that 25% off discount just for the people that are cool VIPs. Just for us. TexAgs 25 is the code to get 25% off. It is duckcamp.com, built for the outdoors and designed for everything else. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Olin, David, Monday, I should have told you this earlier, December 22nd, 2025. Programming update, we're going to be doing a best of show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week.
Okay.
There's not a football game to get ready for, so for A&M. So it's
Wish there was. I'd rather be working.
Our plan was to work throughout other than Christmas, right? We were going to just grind. But unfortunately, the season has come to a halt. We were talking about Carson Beck and Marcel and some of the struggles Marcel's had, but you were saying that Carson Beck wasn't anything spectacular.
No, I mean, he threw for 103 yards. He completed 70%, but he had 103 yards passing. I think the longest completion was 20 yards. It was on the one drive for a field goal.
Yep.
By the way, that opened the second half. They go right down, boom, 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 get around the 10. Elko calls a timeout. I don't know what he said. They stop him and hold him to a field goal. 10 points should win you a game, especially when you have an offense that's averaged 36 points a game. But Carson Beck, even his touchdown pass was just a glorified run. You know, they call it a pop. It's a jet sweep. The difference is that you're not holding the ball when the guy comes in front of you. You toss it up. So, and quite frankly, A&M had an opportunity to get Tony out of bounds and hold him to a field goal and didn't.
Yeah, I'm going to steal something from my brother Alex.
Okay.
My brother Alex actually had this thought. He actually thought Carson Beck played a very good game. And here's his why behind it. No mistakes.
No mistakes.
Right? And when you can run the ball effectively, you can have a game manager, and that's what wins you the game. They were able to run the ball. A&M was not able to run the ball.
Well, they ran for 175 yards and 80, is this right? 86 of those yards? Because then
And the last drive?
was on the last drive. Because it was all rushing, wasn't it? No, well, 81 because they gave 5 yards as a pop pass.
They also ran the ball well in the first half, not at all in the third quarter. That's basically what the difference was. They ran the ball. I mean, I think they had like 85 yards rushing in the first half or something to that
I thought
effect.
they had a 24-yard run. There was a third down and 3, and I can't remember what it was, but I know it was Fletcher, and he had a 24-yard run on a 3rd and 3, and that was on the first series of the third quarter.
Of the third quarter,
because they went 15-yard pass, 20-yard pass, then they lost 4 yards, then they gained 10 on a slant, so it was 3rd and 4 at the A&M 24. I mean at the A&M 34, and then Fletcher goes for 24 down to the 10, and that's when Elko called the timeout, and they ended up stopping.
Yeah. So if you're able to establish the run and not have your offensive line beat up, I take a game manager. When you can't do that, you need somebody to throw. Right? That's what basically what happened in the South Carolina game. Right? If I remember correctly, South Carolina game, we had to go into panic mode, and that's when Marcel's usually at his best, is when we're just going.
You mean like they're on their last drive?
Yeah.
They got the ball, and he started making some completions, and but they got down to the 5 statistically, in some cases the 4, because they were just a little bit inside the 5, I think, and just didn't make the plays they needed to make. I thought that, and look, I'm not going to be the LSU fan that whined about the officiating after the 7 overtime game or anything. I thought I was surprised that there was no at least review on the call, on the non-call on the pass to Reuben Owens. First of all, I thought he caught it.
Yeah, I did too.
So I thought, okay, looks like we're going to probably be going to overtime if they get the extra point. I remember thinking, I wonder if they go for 2.
Yep. They didn't lose the game because of officiating, but there
was 2 plays.
The sideline one was
the sideline one was absolutely should have been a late hit.
Yeah.
But you still had opportunities to make plays, and you didn't.
Yeah.
The 59-yard pass here's where it's so frustrating. You got the ball that one time. You're at the 29-yard line, 2nd and 9. You were at the one time. You were at the first time you had the ball. You got to their 36, and you had 2nd and 4.
Yeah.
You know, a second, and you throw one. I don't care who the offensive coordinator is. I hate and I understand, get the ball to Mario Craver in space and good things are going to happen. But I hate those horizontal passes, you know, and especially if there's not like bubble screens is one thing, but anyway, you lose 3 yards.
Yep.
And then it looks like, I don't know if they're really going to go for it on 4th down, but they jumped. So you had the ball one time at the 36, one time at the 29, one time at the 39 or 38, and twice at the 5, and got no points out of all those.
Instead of break, we'll come back with a very short final segment of the Go Hour, but then we're going to extend it for a little bit. Obi's going to join us for the start of the 9 o'clock hour. Milliken Reserve Time, farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got chills, they got farms, they got wide open spaces. They talk fast, too. They have a mission to build a healthy community around nature, and they've done so by treading lightly on that beautiful land that you can find Milliken Reserve on. If you like to go outdoors, which you should, we need sun, we need fun, you go to Milliken Reserve so you can do the hiking, the biking, the canoeing, the kayaking, the evening yoga, you name it, the summer music festivals, you name it. They got it all there at Milliken Reserve. It's a wonderful place to just go out and be outdoors and connect with your family and with nature and with each other. Check out the website, millikenreserve.com. That website again, millikenreserve.com.
Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports. And they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em.
All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, you'll appreciate this. College Station, the Lazy Boy Holiday Sale is officially on. And this is your sign to upgrade with comfort. Whether you're hosting game day watch parties, crashing after a long week, or just tired of that old couch, Lazy Boy's got you covered for a limited time. Get 2 Lazy Boy recliners for just $9.99. All right, so $999. Mix and match your favorites or claim both for yourself with comfort your way. 50 styles available, many in stock for fast delivery. Relaxing doesn't have to wait, but don't wait too long. When the holiday sale ends, so does the savings. Visit Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries near College Station today and shop recliner pairs starting at $9.99. Exclusions apply. See store for details. It is Lazy Boy.
So I'd appreciate that because I'm a lazy boy. Is that where you're going?
I think you like recliners. I like recliners too. Yeah.
I'm inclined to like recliners.
Like Colin Klein?
I like Colin Klein.
I do too. I think people have been hard on him because of the way the season ended and they think he had dual vision. I don't think that was the case. Doesn't mean I liked all the play calling. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying I think there were a lot of issues, not just one.
They got whipped at the line of scrimmage. It's pretty much that simple.
You want to hear from the people on the other side?
Absolutely.
If you're not scared to talk and give us your opinion, you got to be civil, okay? 979-693-1150. That is the phone number to the Buppies Catering and bartending. Thank you very much, OB. We'll get to that on the other side, plus your text messages. I know I haven't read much of those. We'll try to do that. It is TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And we are back. I said that with a lot of authority in my voice, didn't I?
Well, you
A
are
little bass. Yeah.
You know, you run the show here. Yeah. You're the authoritarian figure.
Welcome into TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm going to try to talk just kind of relaxed.
Okay.
I don't know if I can do that. Let's go to the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Dave and Edmond, banned from the show, but somehow knows how to use his cell phone. Dave, welcome to TexAgs.
Hi, Dave.
Howdy. This is Dave and Edmond. I'm actually calling from Spring, Texas. How are you guys?
What's up, buddy? You sound younger than I thought. I thought you were going to sound like an old man. You sound like a normal dude. Just messing with you.
Well, my voice, my voice is a little strained. My son and I got to come down, and we were there in Kyle Field, and I did my part. I yelled my head off, and man, it's been a heck of a season. I try not to focus on scoring 3 points, but it's hard not to. You go through all this season, when you look back, it's like we knocked down a lot of doors, right? We had some big wins. Notre Dame. I mean, you go back and you're like, man, what a heck of a season. And then you're there, you make the playoffs, and it's Kyle Field, and you're upset at the committee seed that we got, and they put us at 11-8. It's just like everything. Nothing comes easy for us, right? I don't know why. I live in Oklahoma, and it's like some things just come so easy for the Sooners, and for us, it's like nothing just comes easy. And I think I try to focus. Hey, we made big steps in the right direction, right? 11-2. It's just not going to come easy. Next year, it's going to be even harder.
Yep.
We're just going to have to keep knocking down doors. We just can't give up. We got to keep fighting. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and Dave, thanks for your call, buddy. We'll address it offline. What I'll say to that, OB, is fan however you want to fan. Like, too many people tell me how I should feel. Right. I'll feel however the hell I want to feel, right? Okay. And I think you should too. Like, the way I feel about a game shouldn't affect you, right? I understand that I have a platform and a voice, and it can affect the way people think. But if you want to look at this season as a success, look at it as a success. If you want to look at it as a failure, I disagree with you. But however you want to fan. I know what it felt like to do this show at 5-7. Mm-hmm. I knew what it felt like to do this show at 7-5. I knew what it felt like to do this show at 8-4, where that could have gone multiple ways at the end of the season. I'm talking about 21 in that case, right? This was a lot of fun for me. No matter how the season ends, it always ends poorly if you don't win the national championship. It sucks, right? So there was a time in A&M football not long ago you didn't win the tweener games. You won the tweener games this year and usually dominated the tweener games. It ended poorly. Teams either you peaked too early, your quarterback made some mistakes down the stretch, and some of your glaring issues became even bigger issues in the games that mattered.
All those things are true, especially the part about your glaring issues keep reoccurring. It was a successful season, but I think you had to win at least a playoff game for it to be a great season. I thought if you beat Miami, your next game is against the defending national champ. That may be the national champ. I think they're going to beat Miami. But I think you've been playing with house money. Yes, it was a successful season. I just can't call it a great year. Hey, if I go out and I get a job and I make $80,000 a year, I'm successful. Mm-hmm. But if I'm making Liucci's money,
81
million, no. But if or Elon Musk money, there's different levels to success. I want the ultimate level of success. And I do believe that it was attainable this year. Yeah. And I believe it slipped through their hands. Early, your brother was talking about how Carson Beck didn't make any mistakes. He did get fumble early.
Yeah.
And I think it was Cassius Howell was right there to get it and set up A&M in field position. They probably would have missed a field goal, but at least you would have had the opportunity. And if I'm not mistaken, and if it wasn't Cassius, I apologize. It was happening so fast. But the ball kind of bounced right through his hands.
Right.
And I feel like this chance to win and move on just bounced right through their hands.
We got callers.
Okay, let's hear them.
Let's go to the Bumpy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, and we talked to Tim. Tim, welcome to TexAgs. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, guys? Y'all doing all right this morning?
Mixed emotions, mixed feelings.
Yeah, mixed emotions.
I'm all right. You know.
No, I get it, guys. I mean, it's great. I'm glad that the girls brought a national championship to Texas A&M. I'm very proud. I was actually at a Buffalo Wild Wings, and there was a large group of Aggies there that supported them on, and I was very proud to be an A&M fan. I'm not a graduate of A&M, but I'm loyal to I'll be 60 years old next year in January. And in my lifetime, I'd love to see the football team win a national championship. And where I want to go with this conversation is, I'm sorry, but I think it's a college football thing. But I don't think that I like to see people get, jobs and better themselves. I get it. But in the NFL, if you're in the playoffs, the coaches really can't do a whole lot as far as getting jobs. And I'm sorry, if I remember right, I thought Liucci said that Colin Klein was already talking to other schools and Kansas State the week of the Texas game. And it's kind of odd that the two games, I know South Carolina I think it was an offline thing, but the two games that we didn't play very well offense was the two games since Colin Klein was interviewing for and got the Kansas State job. And I don't think he had his full eye on the ball, especially when you see there's coaches being hired at Kansas State already. I mean, I know he's got to do things, but I'm sorry, guys. That's my thought.
Hey, I appreciate that, Tim. And we kind of addressed this earlier, but what I'll say to that is college football has a problem with the way the calendar works. That's no doubt about it. And these coaches are put in weird positions because these jobs are, open during the playoffs, right, or during the postseason. And I don't like that at all.
I wonder if anybody...
But it works for certain... I don't know, I'm not going to throw everything out because the game was not lost per se because of play calling. To me, it was lost because of turnovers, offensive line got beat up, and special teams was an issue. There was 100 issues. The biggest issue to me was the offensive line or the line of scrimmage.
I agree. A&M but even with Miami dominating the line of scrimmage, like I said earlier, they were in scoring position, or at least on the brink of scoring position 5 times and got 0 points out of it. And I don't think that has to do with Colin Klein's bad play calling, because the play calling got you down there.
Yeah.
But what if Mario Craver is able to stay in bounds on the 59-yard throw? Mm-hmm. What if Casey Concepcion's able to run the ball? What if you don't give it? What if you don't get a 23-yard field goal block because you kick it too low?
I know you'll agree with me here. And I'm not arguing with you, by the way. I'm just going to say something. I'm just sick of the what ifs.
Yes.
With A&M sports in particular, every year, and I'm talking football here, every year there's this what if. Hey, if they make a call on the 1-yard line, then we got a chance. Screw the if. Back to what you said in the beginning. What did volleyball do? They snatched the championship away from the best teams.
When big plays had to be made, they made them.
They made those freaking big plays.
That's what championship teams do, and that's what A&M has to find. I always say, not always, I've sometimes lamentedly said that A&M feels like it stands for almost. By the way, do you really think that A&M never had any contact or talk with Mike Elko until the Duke season was completely over? Because I think the Duke's last game in 23 was on November 25th. Do you think A&M had any discussions with him at all? Any?
They probably talked to him. Yeah. I don't know.
Did we mind?
No, it helped.
Look, that's how it's always going to be. If you're looking for a coach, or if you have people on your coach staff that other people are going to want, that they're going to get in contact with them. And if you, and if you're really good at your job, they're probably going to hire them.
979-693-1150 if you want to give us your opinion on the season, what's ahead, what you thought about this past year. We're opening up the phone lines. JD's on the line. He wants to talk a little bit about the season. JD, welcome to TexAgs Live.
Go, JD.
Well, OB, this is what I think about the game.
Oh, thanks, JD. All right, we'll try again. Okay. Sometimes line 2 gives us problems, so it might be a line 2 problem.
Try again, JD.
JD, call us back, 979-693-1150. Yeah?
So what do you think about, it's going to be really interesting to see what A&M fields next year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to replace the offensive line, so that's an issue. We saw what it did to LSU and the effect having to replace your offensive line had on Texas. I don't think, like LSU and Texas, A&M is going to lose a first-round draft choice in the offensive line. I think the receiving core is still going to be really good. I would expect to see a better Marcel. I mean, he made it frustrating, but with the interceptions, but he made magnificent progress from in his first year as a full-time starter.
Yep.
Last year, I was asking the question, where's the pass rush going to come from? After you lose 3 first-round picks, 3 draft picks in the first line in the defensive line, and yet they found a way. Linebacker play's got to get better. You got to tackle better in the secondary. Defense has to be better. I think you're probably going to might be really good at tight end if the Armstrong kids is what I think he's going to be.
Yeah.
And I think your receivers are going to be good. I'm optimistic at running back. I'm optimistic at quarterback. You're going to miss KC, but you got Mario back and see who they get in the portal.
Some of these freshmen
Jerome
coming in.
Miles and some of the freshmen coming in.
Yep. Aaron Gregory. Let's go back. We're going to talk to Bryant here on TexAgs Live. Bryant, welcome to TexAgs.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate you,
what's
buddy.
on your mind?
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah. Go.
Hey.
Hey.
I think the season was a really good season. The only thing I'm disappointed about with the Miami game is not just losing it, but I would have been okay if we would have lost in a shootout with them and not just getting stuff to 3 points at Kyle Field. And just not running the ball 5 yards away from the end zone. Really upset about all that.
Quite shocking that the offense, especially, did you see the stat that Luke had about the red zone offense? And if you want to respond to this, Bryant, you're more than welcome to do that. Let me get this. This is interesting. After scoring on 34 of 37 red zone trips, 91.9% in their first 9 games, A&M converted just 7 of 14 attempts in the final 3 games against power opponents, the worst red zone offense in the country over that span.
It was really bad. I hate that Marcel had a really good year, and I don't really the offensive players, Ruben and Zoom, just being competitive, talking in press conferences. That didn't really bother me. You just got to hold up your end. But yeah, just not scoring a touchdown and having to shootout with Notre Dame and Arkansas, that was fun. But getting held to 3 points at home is just inexcusable, no matter who's calling plays.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of upset me the most.
Bryant, we appreciate it, buddy. Thanks so much.
That offense was like a racehorse that was just leading the pack.
Yep.
Until the home stretch, and didn't have the stamina.
What it was, in a way, is like dating this girl for the first few weeks, all the makeup, she looks great, dresses great, and then you finally call her your girlfriend, and she takes off the makeup. And she takes off the fake body stuff to make her have, you're like, whoa, what happened to this offense?
Like the girl in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I did see it. I don't remember her, but she's taking off the fake nails and all that.
And then she takes off her wig and she's bald and has a big tooth thing with her tooth. She takes out false teeth and then her falsies and everything falls.
You get to the pageant, you're like, this is really you?
Yeah.
Or Elaine, not Elaine, on Seinfeld, the girl who looks different on certain lights.
Okay.
Anyway.
But the last 2 games, the offense was not representative of what we saw all year.
Almost the last 3 games.
Almost.
I know you have
but
to.
That second half, that's what's frustrating. You saw what they're capable of.
Yeah. Mike wants to talk a little bit here on TexAgs Live.
Let's hear it from him.
Mike, you're on line 2. This could be deadly. Let's go.
Mike.
Come on, Mike. Talk.
Go, Mike. Go.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike.
You've got the mic, Mike.
Oh, and I got a question for you.
Sorry. No, Mike.
No, Mike.
God bless line 2. Yeah, line 2. You're just done.
What is
line 2 is like the red zone offense at the end of the year. 50% chance it's going to work.
What is about line 2?
Line 3 works great.
But get him on line 3.
Line 1, amazing.
Get him on line 1.
10 for 10, Mike. It's like Randy Bond was in that last game. He was perfect. He was 1 for 1.
Hey, you know what? I wish he would have kicked the first one.
Yeah, I do too. We're going to try again. I think Mike's on line 1. Who knows?
Okay, Mike.
We're going to try. Mike, you there?
I'm here.
All right. What's on your mind, Mike?
Hi, Mike. Well, I called the call-in show after the game, and I asked the guys, do we even have the traditional screen pass in our playbook? The one where the quarterback drops straight back and draws the defenders to him and dumps it over them?
Yeah, I haven't seen that, so I don't think I don't know that they do.
Hey, let me say this about that too.
Passes, but I don't think they have that one.
97% of the season, we loved those screen passes that they ran. I feel like Marcel was off. He was throwing behind. Like there was a couple times Mario had to come around and do a 360 to get started, and he had already lost 2 or 3 yards by that point. I think some of the passes were off.
But that's what the screen passage does. It counters that rush. It's what it was invented for.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? I know where you're going. You're on the right track there. I was kind of looking for a shovel pass. The ends were coming so hard on the rush. I thought surely they're going to move Marcel just to the left or the right a step, and then have either a receiver on a jet sweep or a running back come over going the other way and just shovel pass underneath them.
Right.
But I think we're all grasping at straws and trying to figure out what could have possibly worked. But you know what could have worked is if your offensive line would have held up better.
I think we were out-coached on the offensive side.
Well, okay. I mean, it would be hard to argue that. So that's a valid opinion.
Mike,
okay. Well, thanks for having me.
No, thank you for calling, Mike. Appreciate your thoughts here on TexAgs Live. People are mad. I get it.
I think it's more frustration. It's the disappointment. I wrote that disappointment and A&M football are they're connected like conjoined twins. And this was just this. Tell me if you disagree. I know you weren't alive for it because you're a young man, but you've read the story. You know the history. I think this is the most disappointing loss since they lost in Little Rock in 1975 when they were ranked number 2 in the country. And if you win, you're probably going to be in a situation to win the national championship.
Yep.
And I don't think they've been in a situation to win the national championship. And since then, not really. The 11 wins, I think, is great, and I hope it is a start of. Yep. But I can remember all the, and I do have a lot more faith in Mike Elko than I did Kevin Sumlin. But I can remember 11-2 under Kevin Sumlin.
Yeah.
And thinking, okay, they're just getting started. And that's when, not long after that, when A&M not earned, but was
derailed.
Anyway, can't come up with the right word. Became Texas 8-4.
Let's take another caller. Okay. Let's go to the catering and bartending hotline. Luke wants to talk a little football. Luke, welcome to TexAgs.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I got a little congestion, a little headache. I'm sad about my football team. Kind of happy about my volleyball team.
Oh, thrilled about the volleyball team.
Yeah, not kind of happy, extremely happy. What about you,
I'm
Luke?
right there with y'all. I'm doing good.
Good.
I think one thing, overall, going into this season, I don't think anyone predicted us to have even 10 wins, and we had 11. And so while it's true that it's very disappointing to have a bad end of the season, not what you expected when you saw what we were capable of, but it's frustrating for me to see fellow Aggies talk about how we had a weak schedule. If the national media doesn't predict us to go even 10 wins, then we get 11. Like, we should not let the narrative flip. Oh, our schedule was easy. If it was so easy, we would not have predicted to do as well. That's how I feel. So overall, we should remember
Tremendous point.
everyone's expectations. So let's hold on to that.
Tremendous point. All those people that are saying A&M had an easy schedule, well, what were you projecting A&M's schedule to be last August?
Right.
Or record to be?
Yeah, look, the reality is some of those teams weren't as good as we thought as the season went on, but after certain events, just like A&M, like, you are who you are. And A&M was not the same team at the end of the year that I think that they were against LSU in Missouri. I just don't think they were the same team at the end.
It's hard to argue that.
All right, let's hit a break.
November.
And Obi, I think I might have you around for a couple more minutes.
Sure.
All right, we'll probably keep you here until 9:30 because I think Billy will probably be here at 9:30. But if Billy's here, maybe he wants to join us. We're talking Heritage Films now. So if you guys want to document your Aggie love and misery all at the same time, like your dad loves Aggie football, he throws the remote when they lose, he celebrates when they have big wins, and it's an amazing party. You can do that with Heritage Films. Do a 2-hour documentary about your pops and his love for Aggie football, his love for your family, his love for your mom, or maybe they divorced, maybe not. Whatever the story may be, let Chance and his team do this 2-hour documentary, and I think you're going to be not only impressed, you're just going to be relieved that you did it. So your kids and their kids and their kids after that get to know the family story, the entire family story. Chance can do it. It takes about 8 to 10 weeks to finish the process, but he'll come to your house 2, 4, 5 hours, do the interviews, light the house, and bam, you got yourself a 2-hour documentary and a couple months later. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341 is Heritage Films. And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Talk about our friends at Brazos Running Company and Mason Hay, a family legacy at Century Square. Brazos Running Company is a local Aggie-owned specialty running store. You know it, Century Square. They're awesome. Mike is amazing. He's been helping me and friends of mine for a long time finding the right shoe. If you're looking for Brooks, On, or Hoka, or Viore, Duck Camp, Turtle Box speakers, they have it all there. And his daughters, Haley and Macy, are fourth-generation Aggies and College Station natives, and they've created Mason Hay, their own company, featuring officially licensed Aggie merchandise that includes pajamas, original artwork inspired by A&M traditions, baby blankets, and stationery. You can learn more about it at masonhay.com. From running shoes to Aggie pajamas, the Aggie family's got you covered. It's Brazos Running Company in Century Square and masonhay.com. Check them out. All right, OB, this text came in.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I thought it was very interesting. And you could apply this to almost any game, but in this particular game was quite evident. Marshall sends in on the text line, Cristobal in the pregame called the 3 areas where this game would be decided. The team that controls the line of scrimmage,
okay,
special teams play,
okay,
turnovers. He goes on to say, and Miami won all 3 of those areas, especially Miami's D-line versus the Aggie O-line, 7 sacks by the U.
Again, it wasn't just the 7 sacks. It was that A&M could not establish a running game.
Correct.
A&M's most successful running plays was Marcel scrambling.
Mm-hmm.
The turnovers, frustrating. The special teams have been, let's just be nice and say erratic all year. There's got to be some changes made on special teams. I'm not saying necessarily means you got to fire your special teams coordinator, but clearly you've got to readjust the way you do certain things.
Yep.
And that goes for the run defense as well. You know, I was pointing out, and I know that wasn't part of what the texter, but A&M gave up 21 running plays this year of 20 yards or more.
Right.
Most in the SEC. Well, last year, A&M gave up 19 running plays of 20 yards
so
or more.
more this year.
More this year, but yeah, but I mean, still 19 was the most in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you played better competition this year.
Maybe.
I don't know. But, you know, like you didn't see the kid from UTSA last year.
Robert Henry.
Yeah. And I mean, he's going to be an NFL back. But anyway, the point is, it wasn't a one-year thing. And so, yeah, some of the personnel changed, and that's definitely a part of it. You know, you got to be better at linebackers or make better decisions, better reads, and tackle better in the secondary too. But and Mike Elko kind of touched on this in the post. They got to look at the way what their coaches, their scheme, their strategy,
right? Because
maybe it's flawed.
I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about, and I was like, you know, unfortunately, the last couple of years, issues that we saw early on were issues
they never stopped.
Yeah. And in certain parts, it felt like, hey, it looks like they fixed these big plays, but then but they got 3 or 4 a game, or they got this one here, and then it was just like you just kind of expected it was going to come.
Yeah, it was like a time bomb.
I was not surprised on the 56-yard run.
I wasn't surprised, but
it hurt.
But you're like, you know, why now?
Yeah.
You know, why? You know, when the game's on the line. They had started running the ball. They started going to the pistol and started running it, and it was very effective.
All right, we've got the Sahara Desert
time for me to check out.
I gotta go sit in Olin's breath space.
No, we'll hit a break and we'll reset and we can figure it out. Right now we're talking
space.
Yeah, like your morning.
What's wrong with my breath?
Nobody can hear you. There's no mic. There's nothing. It's just you looking like.
It's not normally a problem.
There's like a Dustin Hoffman movie, Ishtar. That's what you look like right now. When it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team. Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors, an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. 18 professionals, 9 CFPs, a CFA, a CPA. Their expertise runs deep at Paragon, and their credentials matter. So does your future, by the way. So make sure you visit paragon-adv.com or call them up, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. And as a reminder, they are not open on Mondays. We're back here on TexAgs Live. Billy Liucci joining me here in studio. Chat about all things Aggie athletics. We did a lot of conversation about football on the Luchador podcast and the post-game wrap. We will get to football, but we are going to start today, at least with Billy, this amazing volleyball season that the run that they made, Billy. I compare it, you'll get this, some of our audience won't, but a couple years back, a long time ago, 20 plus years ago, when the Rockets were the 6th seed and had to go through all the 60-win teams in the NBA to win a championship. Orlando, Utah, San Antonio, they went through all these 60-win teams. That's what this volleyball team did on this postseason run. They went through all the 1 seeds, and they dismantled them, and they were significantly better than the last 2 they faced, which were supposed to be the best 2.
Well, and one of those teams won your conference and beat you earlier in the season at home.
Right. Billy's
it's never been more crazily tangled than that. Yeah, I mean, one of those teams literally beat you here, and I think we think about Pitt and Olivia Babcock, and we think about Nebraska and Harper Murray and the greatest team ever is what people were saying, and you go, wow, those were 2. Like, Louisville has been an absolute power. Kentucky won the national title in the last 5 years. They've been the class of the SEC lately. Texas came in last year, but they've been the class of the SEC lately. So just think about, like, this season, Minnesota's a volleyball power. They won that. They're not what they were, but you won that early in the season. But you beat Texas, you beat Kentucky, you beat Nebraska, you beat Pitt, you beat Louisville. What is that? That's 5 of the that's all 4 number 1 seeds, correct? Yeah. This year they beat all 4 number 1 seeds, and then they beat a 2 seed in Louisville. They went 5-1 in 6 games against 1 and 2 seeds. Maybe SMU was a 2, I think. So they went 5-2 against teams that were seeded 1 and 2 in the tournament. And I promise you that would have been 7-0 had they been playing like they were down the stretch.
Right.
It's rare. Yes, it's similar to what Ohio State did last year, but Ohio State is this entrenched college football power juggernaut. Do it all the time, a ton of national titles. This would have been like, trying to think of what this would have been like. It would, well, if we're being real, it would be like A&M doing it in football. Yep. That's what it would be like, because it's like a very respected program, but there's not any type history of doing that to that level. And it would be like A&M having gone into these playoffs, and it would have been like them beating Miami and then beating Ohio State / Nebraska and then beating Georgia and then going and winning a national title, and like winning a national title by 21 points. So I'm trying to think of like
kind of what it would have taken for A&M football to do it this year. Because
that's literally exactly what I just
said.
Like the whole, I went every single game.
Yeah.
I said Miami, Ohio State, Georgia.
You know what I did?
You were looking at your computer.
I did something that I've tried not to do this year as much. Read stuff on my.
I do. Well,
of all people, you're the one I can't get away with.
Because I'm on the phone and I'm trying to talk and I'm like, what? But
No. I'm saying with all people, you're the one I can't get away with that from.
Yeah,
because you will say what I'm thinking oftentimes.
That was great. Clip that.
The moment you looked at me, it's like I knew.
Zane, you're gonna have that one. We're gonna relive that every once in a while. That's just gonna be.
You give me a look. I was
like,
like, oh yeah, he just said that.
But yeah, it is very similar.
Yep.
And look, He even had A&M, and we talked in the Luchador at depth, and we're about to dive heavy into football, but and we'll go later today if we have to. I feel like today might be an extra segment day, or
I might not be able to because we have a couple of. Maybe you want to help me. A couple of volleyball interviews coming in.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk fast then. I think if it was a remarkable run. You also may have an interview with Stacy Sikora to do because she wants to call in today.
Okay.
I'm trying to show her a little grace since she got back to Vegas like after midnight Vegas time, and now they're 2 hours prior. But if she has some time, she'll do it today or tomorrow. She was there at the match. I saw a ton of my old volleyball friends there. I wish I could have been there. Thanks a lot to my buddy who had us going private and then changed their mind as I was walking into the football stadium on Saturday. So anyway, great work. Had no other way to get there, but I was depending on them. So many friends there, so many, I saw a picture, there's like 30 former players there, which is so cool for that volleyball family, and every one of the girls now, adult women, kids and families, and some of them are probably retired by now, that were a part of this. And they were a part of like the history of it, and so many of them were so excited about Jamie Morrison. I know how excited, as soon as he got the job, the first two people that called me were Stacy and Kyle Lednick. Literally the first two people. So Stacy has a lot to say about Jamie. She had a lot to say about him when he took the job. I think day one we were on a group text to go, get lunch, get to know each other, and then kind of introduced him to you as far as the stuff that I don't handle day to day, which is, hey, how do we want to cover it? We put Kay on it. Kay and Callie did an amazing job. I'm so proud of those two, and I think the TexAgs subscribers, don't be scared to say thank you to them. But then, we have a volleyball forum on here because that was Jamie's idea. Mm-hmm. When the first day I sat down with him, he said, what's going on at Nebraska, we can do here. And that's why I took the job. And to hear someone say that when you're 0-0, and it'd been how long since they've been, even to the Elite Eight and no Final Fours, but you believed it when he was saying it because he believes it so much. And then he's literally still going to sit there and go, we can fill up Kyle Field. He's not going to quit until he, gets it where you heard him last night talking about it.
Yep.
He wants volleyball to be like a legitimate, obsessed, massive fan following here at Texas A&M that goes even beyond Texas A&M. You hear him talk about the sport. He loves the sport of volleyball. He loves those girls, and he loves A&M. And it's a perfect marriage. But even with all that, to win the title in year 3 and win it the way that they did, it's unforgettable stuff. It is unprecedented in the sport of volleyball. No one's ever swept their way through the Final Four. Mm-hmm. No one's ever beaten 3 number 1 seeds. And it like you said, it wasn't even close. Kentucky, at the very beginning of the match, was okay, this is going to be a war. Even though Kentucky was way up, I wasn't worried about A&M losing the match, but they looked like firm control of that first set, and they were, the reactions to everything A&M was doing. And it was they're locked in right now to start this thing. It was just like the first set against Nebraska.
But didn't it feel like a home game?
Oh yeah. You know me. If I'm 10 feet away from the TV, I'm kind of that little ball's. I'm going sometimes off the crowd.
Right.
And you could just see see all those Aggies jump up, and no, it was awesome. Last night was really cool. I went out there and seeing so many people. We had about 5 TexAgsers out there. We had Gabe. I saw Gabe out there with his family, but so many people out there at 1 a.m. on a Sunday night to welcome them back. There was a lot of people.
Yeah.
There was a lot. So there was probably I would say, I don't know, 300 people. I don't know the number, but it was that was really cool. Get off the plane. Jamie has the trophy. They deserve it, man. And what I said yesterday that I think so cool is what those girls don't realize today is they're legends. And I know, like, we know, like, what Sydney Carter, Sydney Colson, Danielle Adams, like, Gary Blair, like, how they're viewed, like, in Aggie sports history, in the community, all these years. You know, it's been what? It's almost 15 years.
Was it?
Yeah, it's almost 15 years later. And, you know, they're like royalty, not just in A&M women's basketball, but Texas A&M lore. And that's what every one of these girls are now. And, man, what's super exciting is imagine what Jamie can do and this program can do now.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting conversation I had with somebody the other day about, like, football, because they were kind of bummed out about how the season ended, and a lot. We'll talk about that later. A lot of people, but I'm like, man, I'll tell you what. There's a different pool of player that A&M can go out and get now in this portal than they could have before year one or after year one under Elko. The eyeballs that you have now, the captive audience that you gained throughout the year, regardless of what happened in the last 2 games, you spent 4 months. You know, you can have some. I almost cussed. You can have some losers that clickbait shock jocks that want to use the word fraud. And I think if you don't use that word, there's a conversation to be had of like, hey, is this do you feel great about this season? Is it disappointment? You could say, was A&M overrated? We can have that conversation, but you can't do the fraud thing. I think you're a complete dumbass. And you are going out of your way for clicks and to use the strongest verbiage you can to get attention. And you know, like, I do not like that. I don't like it. And people say, like, I troll the hell out of Texas, but I didn't do that or say that about Arch Manning for clicks, for effect, of all the people that could sit here when they were struggling and say, fraud, fraud, fraud. No, like, there's a process that, and a program has to follow that process. Was A&M fraudulent? Hell no. They were really damn good, and they played their worst ball down the stretch, and some weaknesses got exploited and figured out. Things that we were concerned about. Yep. I think I sat here all year and said when they lose and when they get bounced, it's going to be because of run defense. And then as the season went on, I started adding kicking game and turnovers.
Yep.
With the concern with, you know, Marcel has to play clean. And it's what happened. But my point of saying all this is they were in the spotlight. They had the nation's attention from game 3, Notre Dame, till Saturday. And with that, and with all that success comes attention from recruits in the portal. So imagine what A&M volleyball is getting right now from where they were prior to the season in terms of prospects around the country, transfer portal candidates around the country, versus what these girls watched over the last 2 weeks, and watching Jamie interact with his players, watching how much fun the Aggies were having while playing in the most pressure-packed games and environments imaginable. I mean, I don't think there's not. They just won a national title yesterday, but I can't imagine the momentum that he has when he's on the phone with recruits today or whenever he's allowed to do that.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with a very short 2-minute segment right now. If you're looking for a reason to move back to Aggie land, or you already live in an Aggie land and you need a new opportunity, you should check out the Association of Former Students that are seeking to hire professionals to join their team. It kind of depends on the season of life, right? But right now, maybe they have fundraising, former student programs, sales, communications. They are the nation's premier alumni association and the oldest organization supporting that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with all their fun events like Howdy Socials, Aggie Rain Day, class reunions, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. So if you are interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students.
Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks is good to be right.
Excuse me. We're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance. Studio moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're a business owner and ready to take your operation to the next level, just check out Caldwell Country Chevrolet. That has expanded their selection of commercial vehicles to help your everyday need. Service body trucks, flat duty, and medium duty trucks, all there able to help you with those tough jobs. They're a business elite dealer, which means they understand what it takes to keep your company moving forward. And remember this, every commercial vehicle and personal vehicle comes with that free oil change for life as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Billy, 1 minute left. Let's close out with another volleyball thought. You mentioned about the kind of talent that he's going to be able to do. The fact that he has shown to take a program that was down in the bottom, won a national championship in 3 years. He said yesterday, this is the beginning of something.
Yeah.
It is the beginning of something.
No question about it. And it's rare at the beginning. I mean, it was the beginning from day one. And you look at the 3-year trajectory, they were agonizingly close from an Elite Eight in year 2, And last year's team, I don't think that wasn't equipped to beat. I think they were playing Nebraska next. I don't think that team was equipped to beat them, even though they had a lot of momentum there at the end as well. It worked out perfectly. Like, it literally was 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Usually it's not 3 steps to a national title, though. A lot of times teams will get to that Final Four and they can't win it because it's so big and it's such a jump up from game to game. But this team did it. And, yeah, it's rare that the beginning starts with a championship, but here we are.
We'll be back. And we are back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3 of the show. Billy, David here. And Billy, the offense, man. We've gotten so many texts and chats on both the premium and YouTube page. Just disappointed with coaches taking other jobs and still being in high-pressure situations with A&M. I don't think that was the problem. I personally think the problem was they got whipped on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's look, you could have won that game had you not missed a field goal, turned the ball over 3 times. And the turnovers were a massive part of it. Like, let's be real. Like, Marcel had you just had a bad game, but part of that was because they got whipped at the line of scrimmage. Any quarterback looks bad when under that much pressure. But there were times when he wasn't, and the throws were just off target. Like I mentioned it during the show, 2 of his 3 interceptions, or no, he had the fumble, but his 2 interceptions, one, they were both just very, very off target. And honestly, on neither of those was he under a lot of pressure. They were just, and I don't know what was going on. Obviously, both would have been big plays. One, a game-tying touchdown. The other one on 3rd and 17 would have probably gone for 35 or 40 to Craver. And, there was also the inaccurate throw to Concepcion that you kicked a field goal, but that might have put you up 7-3, and that changes everything, obviously. So just a rough game for Marcel. I think he's going to catch the brunt of it, but he shouldn't, because even if first of all, it's very hard for your quarterback to play well when you're losing the line of scrimmage that bad and you can't run the ball. Carson Beck played like ass, but he didn't make a game-changing mistake. And so you have to give him credit. I say played like he didn't. He played within. This is a low-scoring game.
We can run the ball.
And he played at Georgia. So I take back what I said about Carson. Like, I don't think he played well. He wasn't a factor, but he wasn't a negative factor. So, to me, if that's my quarterback, I feel good about how he played. I rescind my comment. But because they ran the ball the way they did, he didn't have to do what you needed Marcel to do.
Correct.
Which and you weren't asking perfection out of Marcel. Again, Marcel did not play well. He had a stretch there where you felt like he and the offense were picking up momentum. And quite frankly, that had to do to me when they upped the tempo some and started to play with urgency. I wish they would have done that earlier, and that is not revisionist thinking. I was thinking that during the game. You got to try to maybe tire those D linemen out with some tempo, and then maybe that's when you can start running the ball with some quick hitters after a first down and things like that. But the reason you lost the football game to me it's twofold. It was the turnovers, because even with all things being equal, on all 3 of those, one, you were closing in field goal range, if not maybe going for an early touchdown. And if I'm not mistaken, that fumble was on a 1st or 2nd down.
Yep.
And then, at the beginning of the game, you felt like you were moving the ball, and then all of a sudden, wait, did he? Because it looked like maybe he threw it, and it's on that sideline. You're like, did he fumble that? Yeah, damn, he did. The turnovers, but even with losing the lines of scrimmage, you had a chance to be up in that game 10-0 at the half. You had a chance to build a lead that Miami offense, and then they wouldn't have been able to stick to the running game. And then you do get to Carson Beck, and maybe he does make a mistake. But Miami controlled not one, but both lines of scrimmage. We said it before the game. That was the 2 things where the battle was going to be won. Everyone wanted to talk about the 2 quarterbacks. And we said if either one of them didn't have a run game, was under pressure, they were going to be prone to game-changing mistakes. It played out that way, unfortunately. It was the visiting team celebrating. But, yeah, they got after A&M up front, particularly that Miami defensive line, particularly Ruben Bain. Problem is Texas did it the week before, and South Carolina did it for a half the week before. By the way, as well as Miami or Texas ever dreamed about doing it in that first half. So something went wrong there with the offense. I think part of it is teams really threw a lot more zone at Marcel and to make him beat them with decisions and confidence throwing the football and cutting it, keeping their eyes on him more so than some other teams did. I think A&M had one deep shot the whole game, right? And connected.
They connected.
It was you can't lose the line of scrimmage like that, and the Aggie defensive line too. And I mentioned that to you this week. Like we didn't. I think on the final countdown, we're not talking enough about this Miami O-line. And Steve agreed, but said he thought they were weak at center, which I think they are compared
to the rest
comparatively. But what else did I say, David? all week. That's an SEC football program playing in the ACC. It's what they are. I said it about Clemson when A&M played them in 18 and 19. Now, this is not Clemson. Trevor Lawrence, Clemson, Travis Etienne. It's not that Clemson. But they are still like built talent-wise as a high-end SEC team playing in the ACC. They're inconsistent, but not against these. You knew you were getting Miami's best on Saturday, and guess what? You could have taken their best shot, lost both lines of scrimmage,
and still have a chance.
You were from me to you basically having that game in overtime.
Marcel's here. A couple of numbers for you. Marcel has thrown an interception in 13 of 16 games as a full-time starter. Ended the season last year with 5 straight games with a pick. This season ended the last 3 Power 4 games with a pick, 2 a game.
I'm the throwing interceptions. Some of that number, the 13 to 16 games, it's not what you want to see, but it doesn't kill me because he's letting it rip a lot of these times, and he's having, I can find you interceptions and some, like the 2 interceptions against LSU. I mean, he had a great game that day.
Yeah, he did.
Sometimes with him, you will take a little of the bad with the good, but the problem is those plays still make you go, file that away, and then when you make them in games when you don't have a running game and you are struggling or you do need to score some points to keep up like you did in the second half in Austin, that's when it becomes problematic. And to me, the bigger concern is games against Texas the last 2 years and Miami this year. And then also the last 3 games this year, where it's like 3 touchdowns in the second half against South Carolina, 8 turnovers in those 3 games. Texas, Miami, and Texas, 2 of those 3 games you didn't score a touchdown. And the most touchdowns you scored were in those 3 games were 2, and you had no touchdown passes or runs as a quarterback. That's a Marcel thing. That's also something that Colin Klein, you would definitely have to answer to if he weren't leaving. 2 things I would like to kind of talk about real quick that I keep reading. I think you're insane, and I can't change your mind. You can think it, I can think it. I think it's stupid to think, and it's really selling Colin Klein short to think that he wasn't checked in or engaged in that game. I just disagree. I've known coaches since I started doing this. It doesn't matter the program. I'm down there after the game, and I see someone standing there. I barely recognize him because I hadn't seen him in several years. Shannon Dawson, who I've known for 15 years, since he was at U of H with Kevin Sumlin, Spavital, and Cliff, and all those guys. Like, I know coaches, how they think, how they operate. 0% of Colin Klein was like checked out, not wanting to win that game or counting the minutes on the clock till he could go to Kansas State. I think it's bleeping stupid. It's the dumbest bleeping stuff I've ever heard. That doesn't mean we don't critique the game.
Yep.
Your offense scored 3 points in the last 2 years. In your home finale with everything on the line, you didn't produce an offensive touchdown. That's just flat out bad. It ain't not good. It's not. That's not what you want. It's flat out horrendously bad. The end result. Forget about them. You can go through all the mistakes and whose fault was that. The end result is 0 touchdowns in 2 games at home against Texas and Miami. It's terrible. Now. The other one is the Marcel, and I see people going, well, around the country, like, what does A&M do? What does A&M do? I just got a reality for you that I want to say. There's a reality that you've got a starting quarterback that had some terrific moments this year. He was a legitimate Heisman contender per everyone in the country, basically.
Until.
Brandon Walker was vocal about him not being. And my thing with Brandon is this. He's doing a lot of what he's doing and saying it in the way he's saying it because of the reaction our fan base had. Because of the reaction, what you don't realize when it's your fan base is the reaction Nebraska fans have and Ohio State fans and USC and Penn State, whoever, Alabama, Texas, whoever he's trying to get stirred up, that dude understands engagement on social media. But what he's saying is saying it in a way that offends and pisses people off. But what he was the one saying, I don't think he's got Heisman game. Okay? The question is, can he? But through that point of the season, everyone in the country believed he was a Heisman contender up until game 12 of the season. So that doesn't take away from the fact that there's a lot to improve on, and you're trying to look at this quarterback and say, him in this system, with this team around him, with what we can put around him, can he take us on a deep playoff run to a championship? Can we build upon this? And my thing is, the answer is you're going to find out. And you need to do everything you can to get him to where he is more accurate. Because there's still, and it didn't show in the last 2 weeks, there's still a ton of stuff that he does really well. And I know what the Miami coaches were saying about Marcel Reed prior to the game, because I know people over there within that building. I know what they were saying about him. I know what they thought about the threat that he was. They just did a great job of shutting him down. And Elko, Wiggins, Marcel need to figure out why and fix it. And I'm sure they kind of know why. There's a guy on the other side there in Carson Beck that's making like $4 million. There's a guy in DJ Lagway that was making God knows how much. There's Garrett Nussmeier, got God knows how much. There's a guy in Norman, Oklahoma making a lot more than Marcel Reed that's going back there, and their fans, I think, generally are wondering why. You go around the sport, and remember, everyone was saying last summer, shoot, man, how did they go get John Mateer?
Mm-hmm.
Man, OU got Mateer. Man, what a steal. Like, I wish we were paying, no. Like, if anything was proven this year, the quarterback position is a complete and total crapshoot. Just look at all the hype Austin Simmons had, only to get beat out by a guy from Fort Wayne. So it is 1,000% a crapshoot. And if you want to go get, for those people in the college football that go, they should go get a quarterback in the open market, then your price tag jumps up way more than the value of said quarterback. It's a reality in the sport today. So that's something that I will continue to push back on, because I just don't believe it's there's kind of a little bit of like fantasy there in terms of how something like that would actually go. That's just me. People could disagree. And then I think, again, there is you heard Elko talk about it, there is an improvement learning curve. And it would be wild to just ignore the jump that Marcel made from last year to this year.
Yeah. It
would be wild, and you would just be kind of pointing to 2 games out of 13. And then you say, well, they were the 2 biggest. No. They were 2 of the 3 biggest, and that's fair. That's not a good number to say, well, in 2 of the 3 biggest, you didn't play well. But it was 2 of 3. And the reason I say that is because Notre Dame is one of several games during the season where he looked absolutely spectacular. And then there was one game where he was both in one game. Yeah. But you're going to need improvement. You're going to need to load. I think you need to take this game. It showed you we ain't there yet.
No.
And the Texas game showed you we ain't there yet. Not that it's not like Texas was here and you're like, man, we're not on their level yet. Because throughout the course of the season, A&M was a better team than Texas. They just were. They weren't on that night. And look, the reality is, the way I've seen them play the last 3 games, if those teams played tomorrow, Texas would be favored, and they should be. But over the course of a 12-game season, A&M was better. That's why there was no question they were in the playoffs and the other team was out. But it showed you in those 2 games that from a physicality standpoint, A&M still ain't there. Because Texas lined up, and they didn't run the ball well against a lot of teams, and they ran it down your throat in the second half. They controlled the line of scrimmage on defense. Miami did the exact same thing look at Wisner and then Fletcher. What they run for? Almost 400 yards combined?
They had their highest games of the year, both of them, against A&M's defense.
By a lot. Like I'm making up numbers here, but 175, 150?
Yeah.
Over 300 yards rushing between the 2 backs? That's insane. But that's because they controlled. And in Miami's case, I will say this. There's another issue at hand that I think Elko and his staff have to really tackle, and no pun intended, but I just did it. It's tackling. And it is behind the linebackers and secondary. They really got exposed, in the last 2 weeks in terms of tackling, and they don't take ball carries to the ground. And without Le'Veon Moss this year, you didn't see that from the A&M running backs enough. Mm-hmm. That's why sometimes when E.J. Smith would come in, you'd say, okay, at least you see him running through some tackles. I might be crazy. I wouldn't have minded seeing number 5 come in for a few carries just to see Amari Daniels, like, is he pissed off at his he hadn't gotten his shot, and hey, this is your shot, man. Go do it against your home city team, your hometown team. Just to see if he's got, because he's that one cut downhill, see if he's got, and he's not a big tackle breaker either, but he's low center of gravity at least. But he's a one cut and gets through the line of scrimmage pretty freaking quickly. But Miami and Texas backs were doing it in the last 2 games. A&M backs were not. And the Aggie DBs, damn, man, I watched them get blocked a lot by wide receivers. A lot the last couple weeks, particularly Saturday. So that's something that's part of the continued thing. So if you're Mike Elko and you've signed a great class of DBs this year, you had a class you're really excited about that were true freshmen this year, and you got still some pieces coming back for sure. And then you're gonna add portal. It's just how it is. And you got to figure out which of those guys like have enough stuff to them that wide receivers don't really want to block them or that they can get around them. And then when running backs come their way, they're going to tackle them. I think they did a better job tackling receivers this year. And they did a much better job in coverage. Just look at Saturday.
Yeah.
But it's the physicality that was lacking in terms of defending the run.
All right, we'll hit a break. I want to ask you about A&M's running game on the other side. Right now, I got a good text from Jason Rollo over the weekend. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary. Jackie Sherrill's going to give their speech at their annual kickoff event at the Aggie Hotel. Honored to have the Aggie 100 this year. And so shout out to Jason and the entire team, Jason, Jackson, Morgan, Keith, and the fellas. As you know them, they're at Rollo Insurance. When insurance matters most, you want to make sure you have somebody that you can trust. And that's why you can trust Rollo Insurance. They're local. They're going to take care of you. They're great guys. And they give you the best possible insurance situation. The difference is real. 60 offices in the great state of Texas. Whether it's home, auto, business, or ranch insurance, start a relationship with an expert who puts you first. Remember, they are on Highway 6 right here in College Station. That's their headquarters. They are part of this community. Visit the website, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO. And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. You may not agree with where I'm going with this, Billy, but I'm just going to try to have a conversation with you about A&M's, in my opinion, inability to run the ball towards the end of the season. In the Texas game, they rushed for 157 yards. All right, so you could say that was a good running effort. But to me, most of that was Marcel scrambling for, sometimes he saw the openings and took it and ran. So you got to give them credit. But I'm talking about your traditional running between the tackles with your running backs. I don't feel that towards the end of the season they were able to establish it as well as we saw early. And honestly, like the Missouri game, they didn't run the ball well until they did. Mm-hmm. That kind of became a thing for this team, right? Yeah. They kind of struggled through 2 or 3 quarters.
You're able to, and that was the thing. Like, that's why that Missouri game, it was Auburn, Mississippi State. Maybe not Auburn, but I think so. Like, you just were able to build it as the game wore on. I think the LSU game, too. They were more big plays in that first half, and then the second half they hardly had to throw. They were running it. They threw a couple screen passes, Marcel running. The running game was going nice. You can't do that if your offense isn't scoring and you're staying behind the chains. And so you have you run it on first down, you gain 2. It's hard to run on 2nd and 8 in a game with everything on the line in Austin or in a playoff. You fall behind so much at South Carolina, you've got to scrap it. That worked out for them, but it certainly didn't, because you kind of were throwing it around the first half as a result, and it was disastrous for you. So and then you do drop back on an early down, and Marcel gets pressured and sacked, or it's a throwaway and you're still behind. It's just like if you can't run on early downs, you really take yourself out of it, and there has been a definite cumulative wear and tear on defenses for A&M this year when they've had the chance. But against the highest level defenses they played, they couldn't create those chances to stick with the running game and have that fourth quarter effect. Well, guess who did?
Miami did.
Yeah. And you know why? That 50-something yard run that won the game for them, essentially, didn't happen as some, like, we went all game and couldn't run, and he just popped one run. That was wear and tear on the A&M defense. Yep. That was those smaller DBs getting tired. That was a D lineman on that play that he kind of ran through an arm tackle of. Well, it's nice to have a guy run through an arm tackle of a D lineman. Well, part of that happens when you've got that Miami O-line leaning on you the whole game and you're worn down. He was running he averaged 10 a carry. Now, I know 56 changes it. Fine. I haven't done the math. Maybe it was 7 a carry prior to that. So they were running on early downs. They were taking pressure off of Carson Beck. They, as a result, were even when they weren't doing much, they were getting first downs and winning the field position battle. So they beat A&M kind of at their own game, even though the Aggies were more of a high-scoring team this year. They beat A&M at their own game. And again, the frustrating part is we could go through all these things. We could go through everything we talked about Saturday, and you had a million chances to win that football game, even with all of that. But because of how I watched that play out, I said this the other day, if that was just a one game, and I said, damn, I would be like, that was like the Auburn game. We hadn't played one of those in a while. That was, Miami's defense brought it. You could have got out of there with that narrative. Not narrative, that fact.
Yep.
The problem is, it wasn't just that game. It was Texas. It was the first half against South Carolina. And so I think just watching this play out in the last few weeks, you go, okay, I've seen enough. Not to say I've seen enough that I didn't want to see this team play again and play in a Cotton Bowl and all the build-up and the pageantry and the excitement, regardless. But I've seen enough to say they had a long way to go to be a national title contender at this point in the season. And what people don't understand is they don't get it. So, like, they can rip on me or you or TexAgs or any Aggie if they're a fan of another place and say, see, we told you. No, there was a point in the year where even people like Nick Saban were saying it, that don't give two craps about A&M. You know, people that have nothing to do with it were saying it. You know, a lot of these national talking heads were saying it. Contender. They were playing like a contender early. They weren't playing like the perfect team, and everyone that had nothing to do with A&M, including us that did, would say, hey, they got real flaws, but so does everybody, so perhaps this is the year.
Yeah.
But A&M was playing at a different level than they did down the stretch, and part of that is teams figured out, here's how we can exploit those weaknesses. If you stick to the run game and commit to it, you can do exactly what you're talking about A&M likes to do. You can do to A&M what A&M did to Missouri. If you get pressure on Marcel in his face up the middle, like all quarterbacks, but maybe to an extreme version, you can get to him. If you don't let him break contain and make him throw with defenders, looking back at him, guys in zone coverage, drops and things, you could affect not just him, but I think Colin Klein as well. And so part of it was figured out. Part of it was it's a long season, and you got to peak at the right time, and you got to be playing your best football at the right time, and this team was not.
Before we hit a break, can I ask you a little bit about staff changes?
Yeah.
I know you had a post about it, but it's out there now. Elijah Robinson coming back.
That went official while we were sitting here?
No, it's been out there.
What does that mean?
That means it's been on Twitter for 2 days that Elijah Robinson's coming back. Then you had a post on it.
I posted on it, David, and also, people that actually follow the stuff know that that was going to happen, and that Sean Spencer was going to go to Virginia Tech when the season ended. Elko knew that, and Elko knew that Colin Klein was going to take a head job. It looked like it was going to be South Florida, then it was K-State. So he's ahead of this, and if Jordan Peterson gets announced to Kansas State in the next couple days here, day or two, maybe it's today, maybe it's a little bit later in the week, Elko's been, while trying to keep Peterson, because he's one of those guys that you would love to keep. He's really good in the building and done a really good job with the defensive backfield this year. But if he goes and takes a promotion to get his first DC job, Elko's been prepared. Linebackers coach is lined up. Elijah Robinson's lined up. Williams is lined up at linebacker. I think that's a massive recruiting boost. And before you say recruiting doesn't matter, all you have to do is cut a check. That's not true. Because if everyone's cutting a check, then recruiting goes back to recruiting mattering, to recruit portal guys and high school guys. So your recruiting just went, I think, up a massive notch on that side of the ball. And if they have to replace Jordan Peterson, we know how important Elko will value that safety's position in his scheme and defense. And so I think that's what you can look for. I wouldn't be surprised. There's obviously going to be a quarterback announcement coming at some point in terms of that position coach. I've mentioned the name Joey Lynch a couple times, who's here on staff. I don't think that's something that I would call like a sure thing yet, but that's something I would watch. And then, I don't know, there could be a little bit more, some type of surprise attrition. I'm not, beyond what I just said, I'm not really expecting it, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. And by the way, just to remind folks, I think, tell me if I'm wrong here, Elko wanted Elijah to stay before he left.
100%.
Yeah.
Like Elijah wanted to run a defense and thought that was his step to becoming a head coach, which was ironic because Fran Brown was not a coordinator at Georgia and was the head coach trying to hire him. Right. So he was like the living, breathing example of what you could do. But Fran is a good friend of Elijah's. He took an opportunity there that felt like it was going to be one step from being a head coach. I think he will be a head coach one day, and I think if he comes here and A&M wins a lot of football games, he can go from being, that guy, and if he's a part of a really successful defense, an ace recruiter, and he showed here what he could do in terms of getting a locker room,
right,
like he did when he was the interim here, it would be, I think it would be a great, it is the type of stepping stone that I don't think he needs. And he may end up a DC here one day. I don't know. And he may have a title coming with this announcement. But that step of being the standalone DC for a coach like Elijah, of what some of his strengths are, I don't think he needs it.
Yeah.
I think he's a future head coach. I think you've got now 2 former defensive coordinators that you're hiring I don't know if it'll be today, tomorrow, whatever. Elijah was a DC now at Syracuse the last couple of years. Williams was a DC at Arkansas. You got DCs coming in as position coaches, and they're ace recruiters. That's really good news for this A&M defense. Those are, I think, two really strong hires for Mike Elko.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with Bucky McMillan. Luke will join us for that. Right now, Bryan College Station, if your idea of comfort still involves a worn-out couch or a hand-me-down chair, it's time for an upgrade. And the Lazy Boy holiday sale's happening now. And for a limited time, you can get 2 Lazy Boy recliners for $9.99. That's the serious comfort at a price that actually makes sense. Match them, mix them, or keep them both for yourself because everyone relaxes differently. They have 50 styles available and many in stock for fast delivery. You can be kicking back way sooner than you think, but don't wait. Once the holiday sale ends, the savings are gone. Visit Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries near College Station today and shop the recliner pairs starting at $9.99. Exclusions do apply. See store for details. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy had to take a call. Luke Evangelist in here. We're going to talk a little Aggie basketball, rewriting the record book offensively. It's been so much fun to watch. Let's go straight to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We are joined by Bucky McMillan here on the show. Bucky, good morning. How are you, sir?
Hey, fellas. You doing okay?
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us. I guess let's just look back at the offensive effort recently. And was it five games this year with over 100?
Sounds about right. Ask the man right there, Luke. He knows more stats than I do. I need to just let him coach my team. I'm always asking Luke, how do we get to the NCAA tournament? Who do we got to beat? How many wins do we need in the SEC? He can probably tell you everything. But I do know we scored, 118 last night. That much I know.
Well, just talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing from the offense, because all season long we've seen offensive explosions, but as the team becomes a little bit more comfortable with each other, with the chemistry, is it more efficient in your eyes?
Yeah, obviously we're getting better. We're shooting the ball more consistent. I think we're in the right shape. I really didn't feel early in the year, guys coming back and not had practiced and all of that. I didn't feel like our guys were in the shape that I want my teams in, and I feel like they're in really good shape. And people could say, "Well, what do you mean by that? Where does it affect?" I mean, they're still able to play hard or whatnot, but some of that can be shown in their ability to shoot the ball, like if they're leg weary and all that. And now our guys are, probably a couple weeks ago, I felt like they were in the right shape to play high level offense with playing up tempo basketball. There's a saying in basketball that I actually believe in, that you can't be in shape at the start of the season and at the end of the season. Because if you're in shape at the start of the season, it means that these guys have been just totally geared up for game one like it's the championship, and then they're just done by January. So I think our guys are probably in a good shape heading into conference play here, and hopefully the good offense and shooting and passing continues.
Yeah, you mentioned the good shooting. I believe y'all started the year shooting like 32% from three, and you were pretty adamant that, hey, I know we can shoot the ball better than this, and now your team's shooting over 38%, which is top 35 in the country. How confident are you that that higher level of shooting that you're seeing from your team now will be able to translate to SEC play when the defenses get tighter, the coverage gets better, and the athletes are better as well?
Yeah, it obviously won't get any easier. We know that. But I do know we got to play to our strengths. This is not the quickest, most athletic team you're ever going to see. It's not because of that, they're not the best defenders one-on-one. And they're not going to be the best slashers. And I'm not saying we can't slash. I'm not saying can't find ways to stop teams. I'm just saying you got to look at this every team. And when you put a team together, particularly the way we did, you get them, and then you say, what can separate these guys? And to me, it certainly is. You could say we could put 5 guys on the floor that can make threes, and you got to play to that. And you can't, run from that when you have a bad shooting night. You can't run from that when you have a bad shooting half. I mean, we were at SMU and we started 1 for 17 from 3, but it's not like we said we're going to stop shooting threes. I think we made 8 of our next 13 or so and took the lead. So, I know people could get up there when we're not on and say, man, what's going on here? But, the in totality over the course of the game, over the course of the season, playing to your strengths is always going to work out for the most optimal results long term.
We're about 12 games. We are 12 games into the season, and I think we can almost count on 2 hands the amount of times you've had a player get hit in the face and have to leave a game. But for whatever reason, Rashawn Aggie getting hit and bloodied against Mississippi Valley State has just kind of unlocked him and taken him to another level. And since then, he's averaging nearly 17 points per game. He had those 3 straight double-doubles. Last night, he gave you 21 and 8. How much does he mean to this team, and how lucky are A&M fans that his situation in the offseason got cleared and you get to watch your captain play?
Oh man, he's just so valuable to us, and he just plays with so much heart. And I mean, obviously we were the player worth fighting for to get his waiver And I think the right decision was made, obviously, for him to be able to play. But, he just plays so hard and with so much heart and gives you everything he's got. I mean, he may only be able to play about 3 minutes at a time because he plays so hard. But, those 3 minutes when he's out there, he's a terror. It reminds me of a modern-day Charles Barkley, just, undersized in a lot of ways, but comes up with a rebound somehow, just wills his way to get to the free throw line, wills his way to make shots. He's just a force, man. He's a true force. And he's going to be outsized in a lot of these SEC games because he's playing the 5 for us. But, his arms are so long that he's really a couple inches taller than he really is. But his heart is just so big. And, I mean, Charles Barkley played the 5 a lot in the NBA and was 6'5", 6'6", So he's a player that I wish he had about 8 years of eligibility with us because I love coaching him.
Yeah, he is incredible to watch. You mentioned Charles Barkley. He's certainly got the personality of Charles Barkley. He might have a future in TV if Rashawn wants to do that. Always hilarious, always making everyone laugh and firing up the team.
Hey, Bucky, I'm curious about this time of year, right? We've got the holidays, finals are done, Christmas, New Year's, like people want to be with their family. How difficult is it to keep a team energized, focused, considering there are games kind of on the back end of right before Christmas and right after?
Well, it was a real challenge. I mean, I looked at that game that's a game that a high major team drops every year, and usually someone in the SEC drops that game right before Christmas. I know, we talked the other day about we had some losses at A&M here with that same very game, just right before the holidays to a non-Power 5 school. Your guys are really thinking about, hey, they get home for the first time. They got flights booked. Their mind can be elsewhere. So it was a real challenge for our players. I called a lot of them the night before the game, and had some good talks with them. And but it was good to see us get it done. And hey, we were distracted a little bit for good reason. The good reason not being everybody gets to go home because our volleyball team was going up there, getting it done, getting that natty. So I mentioned this last night. Congrats to Jamie and the girls. That was awesome. And I was kind of keeping up with it during our game, so I wasn't the only one that was distracted for the holidays. I was distracted keeping up that volleyball game while our game was going on.
Yeah, that was a fun environment to be in yesterday, Fan Appreciation Day, and a lot of people came out, and it was really cool to see both teams being cheered on, where you had A&M basketball on the court, everyone watching your team, and then people had it on their phones as well, watching the volleyball game and showing clips during timeouts and breaks. And with about 17 minutes left in the game, Marcus Hill probably thought he was the biggest celebrity on the team because he got called for a foul and everybody went crazy, but it just turned out that people were watching the volleyball match that ended at the exact same time. And I just thought it was a fun environment to be a part of, and we saw y'all looking up at the scoreboard when they'd show clips, and just a fun environment to be in at Reed, and another banner going up for Jamie Morrison.
Well, our goal is to get one of those in Reed Arena that says men's basketball on it.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of time before we make it happen. And, that was it was a great environment. And now, hey, we got SEC basketball coming up here in a couple weeks. And we're going, we got a chance to take care of business at home. And if we do, the sky's the limit to getting in that in-state tournament, and it's going to be a hard task. But those are the ones worth fighting together for, right? And we're going to need all the fans rallying together here for SEC play coming up. If you can just do everything you can to fight as hard as you can at home, you give yourself a chance. And we're looking forward to doing that here in a couple weeks.
Bucky, you feel good about where you are right now, though, with that right around the corner?
I never feel good about where we are. We're going to be undefeated. I'm never going to feel good. But I will say that obviously the group has gotten a lot better. They're a lot more versatile. I really enjoyed having the 2 weeks where we only had 2 games because we really got to catch some guys up. Basketball is a weird game. It's like football in this regard. If 4 people know a play and one guy doesn't, the play can't work. And we had some slippage with some guys who had been out. Ryland had the flu, and obviously McKenzie's been in and out, and Pop had. The SMU game, we had some slippage there late in that game, and I don't just mean some of the turnovers. I mean some of the play calls where we had 4 guys know what was going on, and some of those guys that had just kind of been out, you really there's some slippage there, and that's unfortunate. And the consequence of that can be high. So it was good that we had everybody for 2 weeks with only 2 games to catch everybody up, so that we could feel comfortable calling plays and comfortable knowing what D we're in and all of that. And so I do know that. I do know we have versatility right now. If you look at it from the basketball perspective of playing in the full court on offense and playing in the full court on defense and playing in the half court on offense and the half court on defense, we can do different things now that you're going to have to be able to do in the SEC, period. Like there is an adaptability to us. We could zone, man, play trap, non-trap, play fast, play slow, execute plays. And we couldn't have done that, obviously, a month ago. So we're moving in the right direction with that. All these games, though, can be decided, guys, 2-3 possessions. So, that's what it's going to be decided by. Can we execute in these, low possession games at the end of the game under the 4-minute media?
Bucky, thanks so much for your time, man. We'll talk to you very soon. I appreciate it, as always.
Appreciate you. It's Giggle.
Thanks, Coach.
Bucky McMillan here. Luke, good job, buddy. Thank you very much. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with a, minute, 30 segment or so. It's TexAgs Live. Well, music changed. People coming into the chat to close out the show that, having fun chatting, so they get the bye. Anyway, Nick, what's the final emotion here as the show comes to a close for a Monday? Look, we got still stuff to talk about tomorrow. Should have Jamie in studio tomorrow. We should have an interview with some of the players. So, what are some closing thoughts here in the last minute of the program?
I feel like we can separate them, right? If we're talking football, disappointment, obviously, is what I've felt most since Saturday afternoon, and elation, I guess, if you want, for Aggie volleyball. Just more so because the cool part about what me and you get to do, David, is we get to know these players and coaches, just throughout working with them and them coming in for interviews and whatnot. And, what happened yesterday for Aggie volleyball couldn't have happened to a better group of girls. And for Jamie Morrison, he comes back here. He's here early for every single one of his hit, and he chops it up with us back here like he's a part of the team. So again, it's just really cool to see everyone involved with that team, their hard work pay off, and they get to call themselves champions for their entire lives.
Nick, thank you very much. All right, that's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on Monday? I don't know. All these days were. Thank you so much for everybody watching. We will see you all mañana.